Looks like we've made it. It's Friday, October 21st, 2022. My name, Jay Cleveland Payne. Things you might have heard for this day, Friday, October 21st, 2022, which are actually things that happened yesterday, rolling into this morning and going into the day. So you can start your coffee chats with this stuff, and we provide for you more or less free of charge as a service as your news side piece and an third-party aggregator of news stories for you to get to. So we try to pull things from all over the place, some things you would not expect to see. And today we have some not expected stories, some actually really good stories that I'm glad we got into. So we're wrapping this week up on a good note, although there's a lot of bad stuff to talk about. So we'll get to that really quick. Make sure you stop by our main website. This is a conversationproject.com. Find out how you can help us keep things along and how you can be a part of the show by telling us what to talk about, because you give us a script, believe it or not. We'll explain that towards the end of the thingy here. So let's get in with the thingy here and start off with, I guess I missed that one in editing, but this one reads, although it reads in ASCII code, Liz Truss resigns as Britain's prime minister after disastrous 6-week tenure. Liz Truss decided not will she be pushed out, not will she let her folks fire her, not will she be embarrassed by that. No, she's going to embarrass y'all in the middle of the grocery store and throw a tantrum and say, peace out, I'm done. Well, it's not quite peace out, I'm done, but it's I am resigning as prime minister. I will sit in this chair till someone else is picked out. In the meantime, this is your problem. Liz Truss came in after they, of course, kicked out Boris Johnson, after they kicked out some other guy. This will be the sixth prime minister in 5 years, I believe. The fourth election in 6 years. It's going to be a big old crazy hubbub up in Great Britain for a while. But we do not have Liz Truss to kick around anymore because she pulled the chute and jumped out of the plane. However, she is essentially all the blame, or all the blame being pointed towards her for all the craziness that's been going on economy-wise for the British people in just 6 months' time. 6 weeks' time. 6 weeks' time. She only took 6 weeks to destroy a government's economy. That's pretty impressive if you think about it. Now, is it all her to blame? Probably not, but she had to basically fire all the folks she brought in to take care of her plan, bring someone else in who had a different plan, and let them do the stabilizing. And then now she's getting out of the way. What this means for her political future and her future in general, she'll probably be a contributor to MSNBC. Who knows? We all will see coming down the line. I mean, they got everybody there. They got George Conway. They got them all there. Let's move on to this one. Elon Musk plans to cut 75% of Twitter's workforce base of 7,500 workers if and when he becomes owner of the social media company, according to a Washington Post report. I'm going to take a quick sip because this is going to take a little bit. This is definitely a hydration break time. So Elon Musk is going to buy Twitter, supposedly finally now. Right? He quoted he was going to do that, or he said he was going to do that, and he put up the money for it. And then he's like, I don't think so. But the Twitter folks were all the Twitter about this happening. They took him to court, and now he's basically going to buy this. So it's an if and when. There's a chance something may fall apart, but essentially when he takes over, he's stating, or at least, in the whispers around his buildings, that he's going to cut to the bone, 75% of the workforce. I posted this really long intro, really long inspector of a link title because it needed to be said. Just saying cutting 75% of the workforce is one thing. Seeing that they have less than 10,000 people working, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole lot of folks that are going to be losing their jobs. Whether they need to lose their jobs, we shall see. Whether he'll clean up the bot mess, we shall see. But we know that Elon Musk apparently has this plan in place. Whether he buys Twitter and implements it, we shall see. Let's talk about Kevin Spacey. Not because I really want to, but because his trial is apparently over. He declared justice was done, his words, after being found not liable in Anthony Rapp's sex assault lawsuit. So this is good news for Kevin Spacey, I guess. He has some absolution. He has some vindication. He has justice, if you will. But what we do still have, he definitely has a bad reputation, which he kind of had in the backgrounds, but now we have a public scene of a bad reputation. This is a lot like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, where these are people who are famous, they do famous stuff, they get away with things because they're famous, and because we have this trial, we get to know just how weird and just crazy these people really are, and then they get to go make more movies because there's not enough movie stars, I guess. So Kevin Spacey, not sure whether he's going to return back to any time of real time acting, making any real time money, or just doing whatever he's doing right now. But Kevin Spacey gets some bit of justice, as he says, because he's found not liable in the Anthony Rapp sex abuse case. Let me make sure I say this properly. Not guilty, not responsible, just not liable. There's a reason why these legal terms are in there. Trade from UK to EU's 16% lower than if Brexit had not happened, report finds. This was our teaser story yesterday, and I know the Liz Truss story was a late addition to things, because this is basically what I was thinking I was talking about today, until I was in the car and I got a quick alert like, oh, Liz Truss has just resigned, and then they went on to the next story. I listened to the news there. This is the actual kind of the deal, that not so much what Liz Truss did, but the whole Brexit thing. This is basically Boris Johnson's problem. So there's a whole lot of coalition that had to come about for the UK, the British folks, to say, we're going to drop out of this coalition with the EU and be our own folks. We're going to charge our own money, do our own thing, and we should make more money because it's us controlling the board, not us sharing the consortium type stuff. We're going to trade with our neighbors, but we're going to trade with our neighbors as ourselves, not in this little conglomeration, and we'll do good. In fact, they didn't do so great, 16% down on actual trade if Brexit hadn't happened. If they did not leave the EU, the trade levels would be about 16% more, as opposed to what they're doing right now. It's what now let's back this thing up and say that might have been some positives. Actually, there weren't, but because of the pulling out of the EU, UK could actually directly negotiate with other folks, and they also directly negotiated with us at the United States. We propped them up quite a bit with more trade going forward, but their neighbors, the folks that are literally across the pond, can't trade with them as much because of the barriers in not so much language anymore, but in money and finances and just how things are going. But this is why their money is in the tank. They decided to go it alone when they had a consolidation, a group that did work with, and the gamble just did not play itself out very well. Kevin Spacey, nope, that's not what happened. We already did this one. We're going forward. Houston janitor filmed dipping genitals in women's water bottle, causing her to contract STD. That's not better. That's not better by any course, but it's forward. It's the next story. Click the link on this one and read a really disgusting story on how this thing happened. It's really, really, really bad. It is. I mean, it's. This is one that just, there was so much interest in it, so we made sure it was talked about, that people wanted to see about it. So if you did not hear or see about it, now you know. Knowing may not make you any better for it, but this is a story that you got to actually read to get the whole details for. And also be safe in the gym and in regular areas, because there are jokes about people getting stuff from toilet seats, but apparently you can catch things in issues like this. Yes, the person was dealt with handily. Dakota Fanning and Denzel Washington reunite to film Equalizer 3, 18 years after Man on Fire. There are two stories wrapped up this one. Number one, Man on Fire was 18 years ago, and Dakota Fanning and Denzel Washington are going to film another movie. Not a sequel, which would be really, really weird, but another movie with the two actors in it. So they're having a big revival, great meeting time of this one from a movie that was literally on fire, way back when. That movie was also fire. Also, Denzel Washington is like Benjamin Button. He's aging, backwards for some reason. I don't think that's fair. The other story is actually the Equalizer, because there are people who have been clamoring for a Denzel Washington appearance on the Equalizer, starring Queen Latifah. In fact, someone even commented here on the in our feeds about, what, Queen Latifah can't be in Equalizer 3? What was going on? We moved this thing on. We're on this guy. But no, Denzel Washington replies his role as the Equalizer, that guy that shows up trying to not make any noise, but ends up having to fight a big fight for people who need to fight him for it. We are looking like we are on fire for this movie, coming from the two who did Man on Fire. Tyler Perry fired his accountants, speaking of fire, after finding out the IRS owed him $9 million in return. That's it for a second. Tyler Perry's accountants didn't manage his money well, and the IRS owed him $9 million from returns. So let me get a little nerdy and tax stuff right now. While people love getting big fat tax returns, the actual what you want to happen is you want to get as little back as possible. In fact, you want to owe just a bit of money to the government, because what this is an interest-free loan to the government. The government doesn't pay you any interest on the money that you overpay to them. They just pay it back to you, and you've got to kind of fight for your right to get it back. Unless you're a rich oligarch type person who has people who do loopholes and basically pay no taxes at all, which, as I said, is how this thing works out. That's the whole point. Your point is to pay very little taxes, not to get a big refund at the end of the year, because that means you're overpaying, and the cost of that money that you are getting at this big check at the end of the year or so for your taxes is money you could have spent on other things. It's lost money energy. Remember that. Tyler Perry found out that the tax man owed him $9 million, and he fired his accountants for being incompetent, because they were. 9-year-old inventor invents gadget to help parents remember to take babies out of the car. Click on this link, watch the video. This is going to tug at your heartstrings. A young girl decided, because she's seeing news reports of babies being left in cars and dying from the heat. And this happens we lose about 30 to 35 babies per year in things like this. It's not massive numbers, but if it's your baby, I think you'd be worried about it. This girl comes up with this thing that costs about $12, and you buy all the pieces on Amazon, and you can not forget your baby or your pet or your large child or whatever it is that's in the car that should not be sitting in there in the heat. Check out this link, read the story, watch the video. And if your heart isn't, it doesn't grow 3 times that size today, there's something wrong with you. Period. So Newsmax TV severs ties with Laura Logan after she says world leaders dine in the blood of children, unquote. Laura Logan was a very celebrated news reporter, and then she kind of went on the MAGA train, and then she rolled in with Newsmax, and now she's saying crazy stuff, and they loved it for a while, and then she said this actual crazy thing, and now they're distancing themselves. That Newsmax in particular. We'll see if anybody else picks her up. Is this a story we'll talk about? This is what we call one of our teaser stories. So we tease it as a story that's already in the feed. About 30, 40 minutes ago, it's actually been posted. So it's already out there. So when you go and check our feeds, you can look for the story and engage in it. That means like it, love it, hate it, share it. Just do something with the actual post, and it gets some numbers. We take the numbers from Facebook and Twitter, the 2 feeds, and put them in a spreadsheet that gives us a great number. Today, Facebook either backed away from what they did, or they decided it was not any good. They basically fixed it, so I got real numbers from both the Facebook and the Twitter. Facebook.com/This Is Conversation Project is where we are on the Facebook, and Twitter.com/TH_conversation, where we is on the Twitter. Engage in the stories. The higher engagement we get, the more chance we get to talk about it. Come Monday, well, it'll be all right. We'll also have 10 stories that you guys vetted as conversationals. We should get about 90 or so stories over 3 days period. So we'll go from the top 30, pick 10, present them to you, just like that. We're going to present to you at this moment our sponsor for the day, or our prime sponsor for the day, which is This Is The Conversation Project.com/YouTube TV. Well, actually, it's YouTube TV, but the link is This Is The Conversation Project.com/YouTube TV. It's Friday. That means Saturday's coming, and it's fall, more or less winter, and that means football's here. And if you want the best football coverage and want to cut the cord, now is the time. This is the place. Check it out. Watch live TV from 85 different channels, plus here on YouTube TV. Watch it on your phone, on your smart TV, your computer, your tablet, wherever you are, you get it. You get six accounts for 6 different DVR experiences for people in your household. And you get live channels from your local venue. In fact, I went out of town for the last weekend, and of course wanted to see things on my YouTube TV because I just kind of wanted to go squirrel away in a room and kind of watch something. And it had me, I say, "Hey, are you in town right now?" "No, I'm not in town right now. I'm out of town." "Okay, just checking. Have you moved?" "No, I've not moved. I'm just here for the weekend." "Okay, just checking. We'll switch back me back." And I watched TV from the local stations. It did a little weirdness on my DVR, but it's what it does. So check it out. You get your local stations, you get all the big stations, all the sports stations, all the news stations. There are right now various promotions for football, for basketball, for hockey, for news, and for Spanish language. Check it out at this is a conversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is affiliate link, so we get a little bit back from me trying out. Oh yeah, they'll take $30 off your first month of TV. Did I mention that part? I should have thrown that part in there. You'll save money on your first month with YouTube TV. I'll always just sort of just kind of gloss that part over. We're not glossing over. This is the conversationproject.com, our home website, our home on the web, and our website home, where you can see all the great things we do and some of the not so great things we do, because everything, it doesn't work, but we keep a log of it all anyway. There's a newsletter edition of this video thing if you're watching, or this podcast thing if you're listening. There's links to the video thing and the podcast as well, links to our sponsorships, so you can maybe want to join us on there, links to our partnerships if you want to partner up and help us do directly yourself, and of course all the stuff we actually do and the things we plan on producing very soon as time allots. Check it out at this is a conversationproject.com. Now let's get to today things to make this more of a daily show. Starting off with birthdays on the day. Happy freaking birthday to Judge Judy. Judge Julie Shineland is 80 years old today. Recently taken her TV show off of syndication, off of your local, the waste time, and to streaming services, because Judy is money and people are tuning into Judge Judy. Check her out. She's still rocking the robe and she's doing it very well. Judy Shineland, 80 years old on the day. Actor Ken Watanabe, I said it properly, 63 years old today, action star, actor, doing all sorts of things. Good guy, good stunt guy, great movie guy, turning to 63 on the day. And happy birthday to Kim Kardashian. She may not be your favorite Kardashian, but she is pretty much the Kardashian that launched 1,000 ships, if you will, making the family famous again for doing something pretty infamous, but bringing them in the limelight so that their momager, Kris Jenner, she might have still been Kardashian when she started that stuff, and all that stuff as well. Then things got crazy. It was then where things got crazy, not the fact that her dad got OJ off of a murder case. Or the actual sex tape with Ray J, who seems to be doing fine as well. It was Keeping Up with the Kardashians where things got crazy, and it was actually the canceling of the original show where things got really crazy. That's where we have now, the Jenner issues. Happy Back to the Future Day. Today is the day where Marty McFly traveled from 1989 at the end of the first Back to the Future to 2015 today in the beginning of the second Back to the Future. So he went to the future on this day, although the future he went to, 2015, didn't quite match up to 2015 or 2022. If you saw the skit with where Marty McFly and Christopher Lloyd, or Marty McFly and Doc Brown, show up on now I'm drawing a blank. On Jimmy Kimmel Live, and they're talking about hoverboards and whatnot, and he's like, "Well, we got this, yeah, we got this thing here," and it's just one of those things like that. 2015 didn't quite pan out as the way we thought to, with dehydrated pizza and all the stuff, but we're getting there. We got smart TVs, we got things that talk to us, lights and things that flying cars. I don't think we're ever getting flying cars, so I think we're kind of getting screwed out of flying cars. I'm just going to go with that. Back to the Future Day. Celebrate by having a Pepsi and riding a skateboard, I guess. Okay. One more thing for you that you might not have heard going out the door. Think eating healthy is more expensive? Think again. According to a study, eating healthy will cost you the same as splurging out on junk food. Yes, that exciting. Yes. The research out of New Zealand, this proved a view that the cheap cost of fatty and sugary foods was driving up obesity academic. The study revealed that there was no difference in weekly cost between the most and least healthy eaters. Now, let me caveat this as what the study says. Eating healthy food, that means going out and buying healthy food and cooking it, is the same price as going out and eating junk food pre-prepared by other people at restaurants. If you're buying pre-processed food at home, then yes, you'll see the difference in eating cheaper. But if you're skimping on the cooking and the buying fresh food and just going out for burgers and wings all the time because it's convenient, that's where you see the costs are there, because the cost of buying food, because other people cook it for you, makes it a cost. The cost of bringing it home and preparing it is where most of the savings comes from. And if you're buying more expensive, better food over least expensive processed food, you'll see an increase in cost at home. But compared to people these days who just go out and grab it, you'll see where it costs about the same amount as going out to get something to bring it home and cook it. However, you got to actually cook it. I'm a good cook, so I'm partial to that. Friday, October 21st, 2022, we made it. This has been things you might have heard for this day, or technically for yesterday, but for this day, you can use for your coffee chat, going off to talk to people out in the world, as we are now talking to people again, apparently. What does this all mean for the world? I'm not sure, but hopefully you got something good from us. Stop by our main page. This is a conversationproject.com, and you can, help a brother out, help the folks behind the Conversation Project. We're going to actually try to get some employees. They're going to be cheap labor from Taiwan. So yes, you can back me for that one. But we're going to try to get some people who can do some extra processing stuff, some extra production stuff, to get some things to help this thing fly a little bit better. We're looking for that for the new year. That's going to cost us a bit. So if you think we're doing good jobs now, we'll do much better. And if you want to support us, go to our website, and there are ways to support us on there. In the meantime, as time allots, stay hydrated, stay limber, stay in task. Great things for you to do this weekend, and great things for you need to be here for next week. So we need to see you bright and early on next week. Stop by our website and look for the links for our YouTube page so that you can get the notifications every single day about 5:50 when we go live with this. And just enjoy yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself this weekend. Take a little time to chillax, just decompress, because if you have the weekend off, take it for the time off. If you're working, find some time within your week or whatever you call your weekend to decompress. And in the meantime, keep on checking our feeds and reading news stories, because we are preparing for you a great show for Monday that you have to help us out with. Check out the feeds, engage with stories. We'll see you on Monday.